Okay, fine. Come up
Mm-hmm.
here. Make the jump or go home. Come on.
Don't talk to the cat like that. What's the cat's name?
Ginger. She's like 35 years old.
Oh my god, older than you.
Uh-huh. You can do it. You can do it. Come on. Oh, that is a good girl. Nice job. Good jump.
Thank you.
She'll only be here for as long as until she gets fed up with me, and then she'll bite me and leave. That's usually how our relationship goes.
Dang, that just sounds like your relationship with women.
How dare you, first of all. And second of all, I've known this woman a long time. She was my childhood cat. Thank you very much.
No, she's your adulthood cat too.
Well, she's technically not mine anymore.
Hmm.
I gave her away to my grandfather.
Oh, I see.
Yes, when I went to Japan, which is a thing that actually happened, despite some people denying it.
You know, the way that you're phrasing it makes it kind of seem a little bit more unbelievable.
I don't know what you're talking about. What do you think I did all of high school?
I don't know. You weren't even in public school until high school, which is a bizarre thing to hear.
Yes, that's very true. Can you imagine that? Because I can't
No.
imagine going through middle school. The
I
level
can.
of bullying I managed to skip out on.
No, absolutely. Middle school is the worst time period as a child, because that's when everybody's changing, and that's when all the bullying actually happens.
Yeah, yep. The stereotypical bullying happens in high school. That's the one that you see like High School Musical, you know? That
Absolutely.
kind of cliche bullying, but that's not really how it happens. Though to be fair, I wouldn't know because I wasn't there. All I've heard are the horror stories. And I'm like, thank God I wasn't in middle school.
Yeah, yeah. Middle school was definitely a time for a lot of people. A lot of self-reflection being forced on people because they wanted to be themselves. And in middle school, basically the stereotypes you see in like those high school movies are really middle school stereotypes.
Really?
Because that's when fitting in is the most important. I'm pretty sure they do high school because people don't want to have child actors. Or it's easier to cast like young adults as high schoolers.
I mean, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But what? See, I couldn't possibly imagine it because when elementary school was the last time I was in before high school, I should say. I was in elementary school. I made it that far.
Yeah.
But I was like definitely one of the weirder kids because I was reading like Harry Potter when we were at like quiet group reading time for like the 30 minutes that you had to. I don't know if you had this at your school, but we had like 30 minutes of nobody's allowed to do anything except for read. And then all these people around me were reading like other books, and I had no idea who anybody was or what they were reading because I was so focused on Harry Potter.
Was this elementary school or high school?
This was elementary school, yeah.
Gotcha.
God, please, if that happened to me in high school. I had at least some form of socialization in high school.
Surprisingly.
That's why I'm glad I went back for public school. So otherwise I'd be one of those weird homeschool kids that everybody makes stereotypes about.
Oh yeah, God forbid you're one of those.
Now, I'm definitely not one of them. Well, this is a heck of an intro to what's happening right now.
You know what we still haven't done yet?
Actually introduce anything?
That we also haven't clap synced yet.
Oh, God. It's okay. I can do it posthumously after this thing dies.
No, we got to do it. We got to do it now.
Okay, then how about... See, I'm trying to imagine how this goes in my head. If you clap, it'll pop up here, and I should hear it, but it's just going to be synced through Discord. So do I need to clap sync? That doesn't make any sense. You clap.
Well, no,
I'll figure it out.
We both clap, just in case you pull the audios from the Audacity and not use the Discord audio.
Well,
because if you...
in that case, we'll need to do two different ones. See, it should theoretically be really easy. Okay, you clap, and then I'll clap shortly after. That way we have it done.
What if we just clap at the same time?
Fine, let's just do it. I'll figure it out. Ready? Uno. On three. Not three and then go. On three.
Okay.
It's always faster to go on three. Ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, I was a little early.
I didn't hear that at all. You know what? I'm sure it's fine. There was a very... Did you hear me?
Yeah, I was like a half second before you.
That's fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. Luckily, I have a Premiere. I have Adobe Premiere, and that lets me just put 2 audio files down, click sync, and it'll automatically scan it by the power of artificial intelligence. It's pretty terrifying.
Nice flex, man.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. Oh man. Well, I totally meant to look up and forgot to look up when the last episode of this was released.
It was It was November 2020 because it was the election episode.
November 2020. So
yeah,
2.5 years ago.
Just roughly, yeah.
That's wow. It feels like
I believe that's the last bit of any content that we put out.
Yeah, I guess so. Wow. It feels like simultaneous. Cool. Let me make my point here, and then you can rag on me for not committing to things. Okay, it feels like a long time ago, but at the same time, it feels like it was just yesterday. Does that make any sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm not one to be trapped in the past, but man,
if you say so.
This last year was like one of the fastest years of my life.
Oh, that makes one of us.
Oh, you have a different experience?
I say so. I think. Hold on. What's happened in the last year?
Well, you graduated 2 years.
No, a year ago.
Yeah, a year ago in spring,
December
right?
2021. Yeah, no, December.
So, okay. So it has just recently been a year.
Yeah. So I spent the last year as an actual adult, which is probably why it's been slow.
Yeah, that's fair.
I spent half the year working at Starbucks, and then the other half of the year working in maintenance. That's all I really had going for me.
Do you prefer one of those over the other at this point?
At the moment, they're both at the same level.
I see.
Is that good or is that bad? I won't answer that. But let's just say...
Yeah?
I don't see myself staying here for very long.
Oh, okay. You got plans to move elsewhere?
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't figured that part out yet. I meant more so just the job.
That's very fair. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of my goals for this year is to find a job that is in my career field.
Oh,
and
yeah,
stop
man.
making excuses, you know?
Yeah. No, I feel that so... Oh, my gosh.
Oh, Lord.
So speaking of it being a new year, welcome to 2023, right? We're recording this on the 7th. This is literally within the first week of New Year's, of the new year. It's pretty exciting.
Be crazy.
Who thought we would have make it to 2023? Wasn't the world supposed to end twice? Once in 2020 and once in 2012? Wait,
2012? No, you're right.
Yeah, 2012. That was a stutter. That was not me talking about the future.
I mean, it wasn't supposed to end in... I always think about Y2K when I think of world-ending events.
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to end, but it was definitely supposed to be like some crazy stuff happening.
That's very true. Yeah. I was just thinking, if somebody in 2012 references back to this... If the world actually does end in 2012, I want it to be noted that it happened here first.
Yeah, we predicted it.
Yeah, exactly.
If it lasts that long, dear God.
2012? That's what?
20,000
years from now?
Yeah.
How long is human life? Like, less than 20,000 years, right?
Probably, most likely, yeah.
I mean, recorded history is somewhere around, like... You know what? I have to Google this now. When is the earliest...
It's pretty confusing. Because, I mean, theoretically, the Bible has recorded history... And that dates before, what's it called? AD. It records BC time stuff.
Okay. According to Khan Academy, I don't know if I trust them, but okay.
You should. They're an
Are they cool?
Place.
They're a .org, so they must be cool.
Yeah.
History based on written records appear quite late in human history. The first written records date back a little more than 5,000 years.
Okay. So, yeah.
So
definitely, it's been a while.
5,000.
I don't think 20,000.
Wait, a little more than 5,000 years. So that's
That'd
what 3,000
BC. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So I'm referencing somebody that is longer in the future than we can relate to the past.
Yes.
I don't like that.
Yeah, that's a little...
Whoever you are, you know what? You know what I have to say to you?
My brain, I think their name is going to be either Donald or Annie.
You
I don't
think
know why.
that,
Those are
what
the names that the name of that person who's gonna reference this
is going to be
named.
Donald or Annie?
Yeah, I don't know
Hmm.
why. Those are names that just popped into my head.
Well, I mean, if like Elon Musk's kid is any indication of where names are headed in the future.
That is true. I feel like though those are gonna be, you know how like over time the like upper class is culturally different from the lower class.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like upper class people are gonna have those kind of names, while lower class people are gonna retain the traditional names.
That
Because why would
yeah.
the upper class want to relate to the lower class? You know, there has to be some other like identifier that they are different and or better in terms of money.
Yeah, this is some weird like a Hunger Games thing.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the characters' name was literally pita, like bread.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
just to put that out there.
Or the Animal Rights Organization.
Oh,
I'm
true.
pretty sure
I
PETA
forgot
was
about
spelled with
PETA.
an I, but I think in the book it was like two E's, and I don't know why I know that fact.
That sounds about right.
Because if
Mm.
it was spelled PITA, I probably would have called him Pita. Back then, whether that was like 2009. When did that book come out?
It was like
When did
middle
the
school, so
Hunger
I'd say like
Games-
2013-ish, maybe.
Oh my god, the movie was in 2012. I need the
Oh,
book.
that's what I was thinking of.
I'm old, man. When did the
The
Hunger
book's
Games
definitely
book?
been out a few years before that.
Oh, 2008. Okay, so I was
Don't say that to me. Ew.
I was
Did you
spot
read the
on
book?
with the movie. I did. I read all the books.
Oh.
I was spot on with the movie and a year late with the book.
Nice.
That is
Excuse me.
how old would I have been? 9? No wait.
Hold on.
11. I would have been 11.
2008, you said?
Mm-hmm.
I would have been 10.
Yeah. Did you ever read them?
No, I was never really much of a reader. I was the kid who liked to read books with pictures in them
Oh,
and
sure.
comics. So my go-to books were Captain Underpants and Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
That makes a
My
lot of
reading
sense.
comprehension
Yeah.
is
I've read those.
not
Those
the
are
highest.
great. Oh,
They are. They're still making Diary of a Wimpy Kid books. I'm
they
not sure about
are, but they're
Captain
still making
Underpants.
movies as well.
Yeah, they need to stop.
I mean, they I think
After the third original one that they did, they changed the cast entirely.
Yes.
And it was. I still haven't seen it, but I haven't heard anything good about it.
I don't recall if I've seen the first movie or if I just read about it and heard about it via the internet hubbub.
Yeah. It was fantastic. The best one, though, was the second one, Roderick Rules. Like, it's a consensus that that one is the best of the three of those movies.
Ah, okay. And that was before they replaced Roderick. Well,
Before they replaced the entire cast.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like
Because
rebooted it. Yeah.
they had the same cast for the first three movies, because it was the original one, Roderick Rules, and then Dog Days, which put together the third and fourth book.
Okay.
And then the next one was when they completely recast, because pretty much the entire cast was too old.
Child actors. What are you gonna do? Can't live with them. Can't live without them.
Yeah, and then I don't remember where I saw it, but I think it might have been like a YouTube ad. But I think they also are rebooting that series technically. Like, well, they're doing like an animation series of basically the drawings version or like the book version characters.
Really?
And animating that, but I don't know if they're doing it as a movie or a series. I can't remember.
Huh. Oh. Speaking of animated ones, you know they animated Captain Underpants?
Yeah, no, honestly, at first I wasn't really feeling it. I didn't think it'd be that good. Because, you know, as a kid, you have your own voices in your head for how the characters sound.
Sure, yeah.
And so then when I watched it, I was like, I don't like this. Why does he sound like this? Why is Kevin Hart playing this child? This doesn't make any sense. But they did a pretty good job with it.
Kevin Hart played the kid. I never watched the movie. I
Yeah.
have no idea.
I think his name is George. I think their names are George and Harold.
Wow, that's impressive. Yeah. Kevin Hart's been in
Yeah.
everything the past couple of years.
Absolutely.
So.
He's definitely making that money.
Yeah. It's weird seeing all these, like... I mean, I can't even say they're, like, not high-level celebrities. But it's
Yeah.
weird because there's a lot of crossover with the wrestling world for some reason. All these
Yeah.
wrestlers are getting really big movie roles. Like John Cena, Dave Bautista. It was recently in... the second the second Glass Onion, which is the second Knives Out.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's just weird.
I mean, I think because you kind of went through the entire like history of wrestling, I know,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure it's a pipeline. Because I mean, like not professional, but like WWE wrestling is 100 not 100%, but it's a lot of performance stuff
Oh
and
yeah.
a lot of acting. So it makes sense that they go from that to acting. And it's usually like the people that are like the most famous that end up going into the acting. I think it's like a wrestling to acting pipeline because like you said, Batista, John
The
Cena,
Rock is one of
The
the
Rock.
other. Yeah.
Yeah, like those are the big three that you think of. But there's others that have done it too. And so it's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe
It's
I should get into
strange how
wrestling.
those two worlds collide like that.
Yeah, it's fame is wild.
I think we've talked about a desire to be famous, but I don't know if we ever did it. I feel like we talked about that on one of
We
the old podcasts.
probably did. We could do a quick
Yeah,
recap.
retread the
Yeah.
how
So
we
I've
value
always
the concept of fame.
yeah. I think for me, I want to be famous not to be famous, but just for recognition.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense, I want people to acknowledge the stuff that I've done. So I could be like, wow, other people can see that I did something cool, I did something great, that the things I did actually matter to somebody else type thing. But the stuff that comes with fame, like paparazzi and drama and people always in your business
Yeah,
and just stuff like that, I don't want that.
it's a real double-edged sword because,
Yeah.
like, especially in the industries that we're both in, there's a certain
Mm-hmm.
level of lack of privacy that is just inherent
Absolutely.
within the system.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I personally, I still haven't really wrapped my head around that, like how it's. Assuming I achieve the level of success that I want to, it's hard to wrap my head around being a public figure.
Absolutely.
Like I think we see public figures literally every day, all the time. Like all
Yeah.
the stuff that's like happening in Congress right now. There's all these people that are like names that I don't know a lot of them, but some of them I do
Mm.
know, and I'm like, well, I know them because the news has been talking about them incessantly for like
Yeah.
the past 8 years or however long they've been talking about these people, and so I try
Yeah.
to imagine myself in a role similar to that. I'm not in politics because I don't think that's. I hope to God
Yeah.
that's not where my future lies, but in terms of like if. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
To slightly sidetrack from this, so I was having a conversation with with Jacob, my older brother, before he left for Japan,
Yeah.
alongside my cousin Braden, and both of them are musicians. And I had this. Oh man, it's so hard to explain this without jumping back 800 times. Okay, you know the director Ryan Johnson?
Not at all.
Okay, he did The Last Jedi.
Oh.
He also directed Knives Out and Glass Onion, and he has a third Knives Out for 2020 something planned next.
Nice.
And he also did Looper before the movie before The Last Jedi was Looper, if you ever saw that.
I did not.
Okay, but he basically went small film, and then he did Looper, and everyone was like, okay, this is kind of a weird movie. It was really 50-50. Then he went from that to like a Disney-led film in the Star Wars series,
Yeah.
which I don't know how much you remember of that fallout, but there was a huge explosion of people hating that movie or loving that movie. It's being like, this is
Yeah.
the only good one in the series of 3. Like, no, The Force Awakens was better, or I think the last one was universally panned, but the middle
Yeah.
one was like in a weird gray area. And somehow
You either loved it or you hated it.
Yes, yeah. He somehow went from not really being a household name to being a household name because he worked with Disney and Star Wars. And now he has catapulted that. I forget when that came out. I think it was like 2015, somewhere in there. He went from that to working on Knives Out, and then which he wrote and directed. And has now gone, I've written and directed another one. I'm writing and directing another one. And who knows how long that goes into the future, right? Like, he hit
Yeah.
that critical point of mass where he is now able to do what he wants and people will pay him to be able to do what he wants. Which I thought was really cool, because I looked at Rian Johnson and I kind of went, well, obviously we are not on the same level, but to a certain extent, this dude is like my peer, because we're in the same industry, we're trying to do the same things. He is just a successful version of it. And then I took that, because I went, oh, I saw Looper, and I saw The Last Jedi, and I saw Knives Out. I've seen a lot of this dude's filmography. And went, this guy feels more like a peer to me than someone like Steven Spielberg ever would. Because I look at Steven, Mr. Spielberg, I should probably say, and go, that dude is like untouchable. Nobody has ever come close to him. Nobody will ever be close to him. There are other incredible directors that you literally can't compare because they're just like amazing. I will never achieve that. Therefore, they are not my peers. They are like to a writer like who Shakespeare is.
Yeah.
And
I gotcha.
I was asking them about that. That was a long setup to this question that I asked my two musician family members. And I was like, do you guys feel like you have peers in the music industry? Or is everybody like a level above you? Like you're trying to get to their level despite doing live performances and producing music and all this other stuff. It's like, why do you consider yourself that? And their answer was really 50-50. It was kind of in a similar boat where they're like, yeah, a couple of people I feel like I'm friends with. But then there are certain people who they felt like were the best of the best, and they would like fanboy over if they ever met them in real life.
Yeah.
And so I guess what I wanted to lead this question up to is in a similar relation to you as an actor. Do you feel, I guess first and foremost, do you feel like acting is your primary existence, quote unquote? That's probably not the right word for it, but like
primary existence.
Like I'm a filmmaker, right? I can say that pretty confidently that that's like what I am. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And so my cousin and my brother are musicians, and they consider themselves musicians. And so you, as a guy with an acting degree and who has acted in things before, would I consider an actor. And so you can look at other actors out there, right? Really famous people, ridiculously famous people, and go, yeah, I'm in the same industry as them. They're my peers. Do you feel like that?
Absolutely not.
Oh, why not? I mean, you've literally acted in, I don't even know how many short films. Like,
at
probably
least like
10.
4 to 5.
4 to 5? Oh, I guess.
That I can remember at least.
I guess not counting like the stuff that we've done.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I forgot about those. But I'd say no, only because it kind of does come down to that fame aspect, I guess. Because it kind of, if I were to consider them my peers, I guess I'd feel like we'd be on more of a level or even playing field. So if we were both to, audition for something, theoretically they're auditioning for things and they don't have people like, hey, we want them in our film.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's kind of the big thing. But if they were to audition something, I would have, just the same amount of chance, supposedly, as they would.
Yeah, fair.
Which I don't. Or at least I feel like I don't, I should say.
Right.
Because I very much could. Because we get new actors every single day. But I don't have the confidence that they have. I don't feel like I have the same amount of, like, skills that they have at the moment. The recognition that they have either. Because the way I see it, what you're asking me is, do I feel like I could consider somebody like Will Smith my peer, my acting peer?
Sure.
And I'd say no. I feel like they'd be more of like an idol. And that's true for all the like the A-list celebrities, B-list celebrities, people that have been in, Hollywood films, people that have been in like big name films that aren't just like, college short films, I guess.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
theoretically, I could move up to those big name films one of these days. Um, but at this very moment, I feel like I'm not on that same level as they are. But I guess in the literal sense, they would be my peers.
yeah, yeah. I mean, in strictly the definition term, I would say absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, how much of that do you think comes down to like confidence, though? Because there are a lot
A
of people out there
lot.
who, I mean, the saying, "fake it till you make it" is literally, I feel like is really accurate to what reality actually is.
No, yeah, it's definitely a big one. Uh, Having not a lot of confidence in myself and my abilities is preventing me from doing a lot of things or trying to do a lot of things, auditioning for things. I mean, that's one of the biggest reasons why I keep saying, oh, okay, I'm going to start doing this, or I'm going to start putting myself out there a little bit more, blah, 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 blah. I mean, even with, like, because I put out that album last year, I didn't do that because I felt confident about it. I did that because I said I wanted something to be proud of.
Yeah, I mean,
And did it boost my confidence? Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've seen the views on that continually rising. They're all. I have that whole what do you call it? That whole playlist saved on my Google, my what do you call
Heck
it? Like the
yeah.
YouTube thing, the app. Well, I don't know what you
Yeah.
call it. And every
YouTube
once in a
Music?
while, I check back in and I go like, oh yeah, yeah, there's another 50 views across all of them. That's pretty good, man. That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Funnily enough, kind of what's it called? Getting sidetracked a little bit. A few weeks ago, me, Chanel, and Jacob, I'm sorry, me and my roommates, um, we were sitting in the hallway, and we were just all looking at our Spotify Rewind, which, for those who don't know, Spotify literally is like, hey, these are your most like songs, most listened to songs in this entire year. These are the genres you listen to the most, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Jacob's number one artist was me, and that was kind of an ego boost.
Say that again. Can you
Jacob's number one artist
Yes.
for that he listened to last year was me.
Oh really? That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and it's funny because the other artists that were on that list were like AC/DC, uh, fucking Linkin Park, and like
Yeah.
big name people, and then I was at the top, and I was like, "Whoa, that's kind of a making my head huge,"
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because it's like, I mean, obviously, my friends and family are the ones that support me, but just to even be on somebody's top five list is kind of like, wow, maybe I am actually kind of hot shit.
I think that's where a lot of people, get their start is just with family.
Yeah,
Family and
absolutely.
friends, and then it all kind of just spirals out of control from there.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Yeah, like
um
I'm looking at it right now. The highest one that's on here is 490 views.
that's a lot.
That's kind of crazy. Like I tell you, there are musicians that I've worked with in the Austin area who have put their music out online and are nowhere near to like that number. And they're like
Wow.
professionally performing. Yeah, I mean, I guess they're getting like live gigs and stuff, but their online presence isn't nearly as successful as yours has been, and you
Yeah.
haven't put anywhere near the effort that they have into their stuff. I'm not saying like that. Okay, that came out really wrong. What I'm saying is
Wow,
like,
John, really?
when was the last time you performed live? All right,
That's
they
fair.
have a lot of in person stuff, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But in order to achieve the highest level of success as possible within the music industry, you have to have an online presence. And that's where
Absolutely.
you are succeeding way more than a lot of the people that I've worked with down here.
Somehow. Because
Somehow,
listen,
inexplicably, what do we call that in the? Oh, is that talent? Oh my
I
goodness.
suppose. I mean, listen. Well, that might be true. At the same time, I literally didn't even want to tell anybody that I put out the album. I didn't, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna tell anybody about it. I was just gonna let people find it organically, and then Caleb basically made me like make post about it, like, "Hey, go listen to this," and then people started sharing the stuff, and because when I first put it out, I was like, "This is absolute dog ass. This is this is awful. I'm not really proud of this, but I wanted to put something out there so I could say that I actually did it." And looking back at it, Yeah, I wish I could have done a little better job with the recording or the quality and stuff like that. But I mean, what somebody, I don't remember who it was, but it was multiple people really were like, even if you didn't like it, even if, this, and that, one thing that you can say that a lot of people haven't done is that you put out an album.
Yeah.
Like, you did it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how I've been kind of like trying to just look at my life as of late, especially for this year, as at least I did it. At least I tried, as opposed to being too afraid to do anything.
Honestly, I think that's a really one of the things about it that's so beautiful about the artistic process is watching people like evolve over time.
Yeah.
Like some of my favorite posts online are artists who have like, this is a drawing I did in 2012, and then I redid that drawing in 2015 and 2018 and 2020 and 2023, and
Absolutely.
it's like you watch their development, you go, wow, these dude's been honing his art, and this is incredible. Like I love seeing that process.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the things why I like I think this podcast and the Lamb a la John brand, is kind of fascinating to me, because it's like we have a lot of stuff that we put out only a couple of years back, but then there was a gap of nothing, right? And now if we have re-begun this process, which seems to be our intention, then it's like, oh, we're looking at these same two people 3 years down the line from the last time that we saw them, where they were kind of being stupid and silly and just like having a good time. And now it's these two adult people who are like just doing what they can to get by and trying to continue to be creative and struggling against like
all odds.
Yeah, just like reality itself, to try and maintain that spark of carefreeness that I feel like is really kind of critical to a lot of creativity.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, one thing I like noticed when I was still in college was that there was two, especially in like the arts and like the film side, is that there's two very distinct kind of students, two distinct kind of people, and sometimes one of them turns into the other. But the two different, I guess, brands of not brands, but the two different people that are in theater, in acting school, in film school, are the ones who like are determined to do great and be the next big thing, and the other ones that are like, I just want to do something I'm happy, I'm passionate about. And I guess that's kind of true for all college kids. And I feel like if you are with that first, if you're in that first group of people where it's like you're kind of just like on top of your stuff, hardcore all the time, applying for everything, doing everything you can to move up in the world, it can very much happen. Because it's all about dedication and putting yourself out there and actually doing the work. But at the same time, I feel like it kind of deletes that, I wouldn't say carefreeness, but that, imaginative attitude of, oh, snap, I can become a filmmaker, I can become an actor, and I can put myself into the world and share my own craft, as opposed to, I guess, fitting the mold of what a filmmaker, an actor, a writer should be, based on what the world is wanting right now. It kind of puts you in a box, I guess. And I don't remember what the original thing I was going to say was, but
No, I think that was a great. I think that was great. I agree. I think there are definitely two of those archetypes.
Yeah, we met a lot of them. Going through school, and there's still some people who still do have that mentality, which is not bad at all. But at the same time, those are the same people who kind of refuse to accept any kind of failure, so that when failure does come along, it kind of destroys them.
Yeah, I mean,
and it makes them feel like they're. Oh, sorry.
No, yeah. Please continue.
It makes them feel like what they're doing isn't worth it. They're wasting their time because they haven't reached a goal that they've set for themselves. No matter how like small or drastic it is, to them, if they can't reach that goal, or if they can't do something a certain way, then they feel like they're not doing enough, they're not good enough, and that kind of causes them to spiral out of control a little bit sometimes. We've both seen that in a lot of people we've met since we went to college.
Yeah, I think the industry is really crash and burn, or shoot for the stars, or crash and burn. And
Absolutely,
there's no middle ground there of, you know what, I'm gonna be in a comfortable 9 to 5 audio engineer job. It's like no. That's like you've hit the stars, or you've crashed and burned before that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man,
I mean, anything?
Oh yeah. Well, I was thinking about this video that I saw the other day that was like, they asked the question: would you rather work a job you're passionate about, or what was it? Work a job you're passionate about.
I hear that kind of stuff all the time.
Or have a job like a regular 9 to 5, and a hobby that you're passionate about that you can support with that.
Yeah.
And they like compared the two, being like, oh yeah, you have to be passionate, or you can just stoke that passion.
Yeah. Ooh, give me like 10 seconds. I gotta grab my charger.
Oh, yeah, go for it. Here is where we'll put our advertisement. If you would like to advertise on John Talks to Lamb, please contact us at lamballajohn@gmail.com. Thank you. This has been paid for by John and Lamb. The customary 5 seconds of silence following this is also paid for by us. That was only 4 seconds. You were very wrong. You did not know.
Listen.
Huh?
Listen.
And we're back.
I'm still trying to get rid. There's a lot of wires going on over here. Is all.
Thanks to both John and Lamb for sponsoring that segment.
Hello.
Hi. Yes. I should have taken that time to check what time we're at. 40 minutes. That's pretty good.
That's a surprise. Actually, not really.
It's a good break, and we can rewind the wheels of wherever we were spinning out of control into.
I feel like we aren't spinning out of control. I feel like this is a very controlled conversation.
Yeah.
We haven't.
What was the first thing that we talked about? I have no idea how many.
You're asking a lot of questions. Listen. I think what you're doing right now is unwarranted. You don't have to worry about that right now.
I don't have to worry about the fact that we're the most scatterbrained pigeon individuals that have ever existed.
I feel like scatterbrained goldfish would be more accurate.
Goldfish, yeah. Get two people with ADHD in the same room and watch the fireworks.
You don't even know if you have ADHD.
Yeah, that's right.
Neither do I.
We're making
Probably
it up.
undiagnosed.
I diagnose myself with stuff all the time. What are you talking about? I'm more qualified than the doctors because I know me.
I don't think that's correct.
They don't know me, and I'll never be honest with them, so they'll never know me either.
But you're never honest with yourself either, so...
Oh. My soul laid bare.
You'll be fine. You'll work through it.
Uh-huh. I always do.
What do they say? You just man up. You got it.
Yep. Bottle it up. Put it on the shelf.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ginger. She has not left my lap, by the way.
She's enjoying the conversation.
Yeah. The rumbling. Wait.
That's because we're so entertaining.
Yeah, she's just big chillin'.
I do have a thing to talk about.
Yes, by all means. What is your thing?
Because we got some topics that I wrote down.
Uh-huh.
I have technically 5 or 6, whatever. So since it is the beginning of the year, this is something I did want to bring up. So assume that we're gonna listen back to this at the end of the year. What is one lesson or piece of advice you'd hope to learn by the end of the year?
So, okay, in this scenario, wait, am I sending a message to my future self?
Pretty much.
Okay.
So we're listening back to this at the end of the year. This is something we're saying to our future selves that we hope that we have lived by or learned.
Oh, man. Really just springing that, huh?
Yeah.
The downside
I told you some of them are thought-provoking.
Oh, man.
For me,
yeah.
I would say I hope that you actually slept this year, and ate healthy and ate in general, and stop letting people walk all over you because you have that issue. Uh, that's the big thing. That's something that I've always struggled with pretty much my whole life.
Yeah.
Letting people walk all over me, but as of late, sleep and eating properly and healthily.
This is slightly unrelated, but I've been trying to. Okay. Here's my scatterbrain. Stop moving my. Okay, and she's gone.
You leave Ginger alone. You scared her away.
Well, she didn't bite me this time, so at least that's good. Our relationship is improving. Okay, but what I was trying to say is this sounds a lot like what I should say is just what I've written down for like my my New Year's resolutions.
Oh,
and we were talking about this a couple of days back about how I usually try and set a theme for the year that helps me sort of guide myself. Like last year was to try new things because I notoriously don't try new things.
Yeah.
I discovered that about myself, and I went, you know what I should do is stop saying, and start saying, yes, let's do it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's going to go good, but let's do it. And by God, I mean, last year I think was a really fun year.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
So, but the issue that I have now is like, I don't know if I can continue doing let's have a theme for the year when I need to be like, I need to have a 5-year plan and a 10-year plan and a 50-year plan. Like, where do I want to be when I die? Okay. This is where it starts spiraling out of control.
All right.
That's why like this past. Yeah. Here's where we get into the stuff that like I was telling you before. Like I have some topics prepared. I don't know if I want to get into them. I want to see how the mood goes, and then maybe we'll stick to fun and fluffy topics instead of like, how do I want to be remembered when I die? Because this is stuff I've been thinking about, especially over the past, like, I guess since Christmas. I don't know. It wasn't anything particular that triggered it at Christmas, but it was just sort of like okay, New Year's is coming up. I need to start planning my resolutions, and I need to start planning my theme. Because I found that gives me some structure. And I need that structure because the years before that were not anywhere near that structured and kind of became listless at certain points. And just kind of flew past, right? And so I started thinking about it and kept going through all of these, like, what could it be? You know, like, I did this year. I did this the year before. What are we trying to do this year? It's like, well, I have so many things that I want to accomplish, but I don't know if I can do it in a year. I probably can, but who knows if I keep getting quote unquote sidelined by work, then it's like I don't get to do the pet projects that I've started and have ultimately never finished. And this is actually a really good example of one of those pet projects that I started. And I mean, I don't think there's an ending to Lamb a la John until we die, really.
There will never be an end to Lamb a la John.
And there's another rabbit trail that my mind went down that I wanted to bring up. Is I think it's really cool how we last released one of these things 2.5 years ago. We get to see how we feel right now, and if we like start talking about modern topics or whatever, and then 2 years from now, what are we going to be talking about? Are we going to take another 2-year gap? Are we going to do this for a year, take another 2-year gap, and then come back? Like, that'll be 3 years from now. I'll be pushing 28. I'll be almost into my 30s,
pushing 30.
Right? That's like, I'm like,
old
wow, man. It's weird to see how this pattern is already forming. And I've gotten so scatterbrained by my own train of thought, I got to bring it back. So what you were asking me is, what do I want to send a message to my future self about?
Yeah.
Kind of. No, it was what lessons do I want to have learned this year?
Yeah, that pretty much.
First of all, stupid question. I like the way that I phrased it better. Because you confused me almost immediately with that.
I feel like the way I said it was a little confusing, but you confuse yourself with the wording, and like you always do whenever I talk, you know that the way I, you know what, continue.
Oh, okay, all right, just giving up on that. It can't roast back, I see. Can't dish it out, but you can take it. Is that how this works?
Answer the question. You're beating around the bush now.
Well, I'm trying to stall for time while I think of it.
Oh, we bet.
Maybe I'll just pull up my notes or something. Like, I want to keep losing weight. How about that?
Okay.
in 12 months, I had better be down to the proper weight, or I don't know.
Based on the BMI or like a goal that you set for
Well,
yourself?
yeah, I guess a BMI, a healthy weight for a person that's 6'2". Let's
I feel like
see.
BMI is kind of bullshit.
It's
Because I think they said like the healthy weight for. Wait, what is the healthy weight for somebody my height?
I don't know, but I'm way over it.
I mean, same. I've been clinically obese my whole life, so.
Yeah, same. It's a tough existence. We just watched Jonah Hill's oh gosh, documentary called Stutz. I don't know if you've heard of that or seen anything about it.
I have not.
But it's basically like an hour and a half of Jonah Hill talking to his the actor Jonah Hill. For those of you that don't know who he is, talking to his therapist, who is this really sort of world-renowned therapist guy. And one of the things that he mentioned was growing up fat, right? It's like, man, I can relate to that. I was in that role. Of course, I think he was a lot bigger than I was, but it was still the same kind of concept of not being the same as everybody else around me at any given moment.
Yeah.
And so it was just fascinating to see. I would recommend watching it if you want to get up in your feels, because it was a pretty intense movie.
I do like to be in my feels. Yes. Real quick, going back to the BMI scale, a healthy weight for somebody who is 5'5" is 115 pounds to 145 pounds.
I was about to say, if you were 115 pounds, I think you wouldn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. I don't see somebody.
Is that for
somebody,
women or for like humans in general?
I don't know. It just says BMI calculator.
That's ridiculous.
It just says adults here. No, somebody who's 5 foot even, the lowest healthy weight or their healthy weight range is 100 pounds to 125 pounds.
5 foot even?
5 foot even.
Are you 5 feet?
I'm 5'5".
Okay, I was gonna say.
And you're what, 6 foot, 5'11"? One of those two?
6'1", 2", depending on if I don't slouch.
Depending on a good day?
Yeah, if I don't slouch, if I stand with my head properly positioned. I got bad posture, man.
At 6'1", your BMI healthy weight is between 140 pounds and 185 pounds.
Yes. However, due to my Germanic heritage, the goal was 190. I ain't there yet, but I also...
We're getting there.
Just didn't care during November and December because it was like these 2 months are going to be so much good food is going around and I ain't missing out on that. So let's just pick it up in the new year. It's like at least I managed to maintain my weight through all that, which is something that the people have been like, wow, good job. I'm like, I didn't try, man. I just didn't eat except for when we needed to eat the good food.
Yeah. I mean, that's good. It's kind of like how people are like, just kind of living carefree for most of the time, and then when spring comes, they're like, all right, I gotta get good for my summer body.
Yeah. It's kind of weird because, that was another... I spiraled off of a point that spiraled off of another point, and I didn't get to bring it up. Because one of the other things that I want to do this year is I'm kind of waffling on it, to be honest. But one of the things I want to try and do is build my social media presence. Because
You're not on social media.
No, not at all. Like, I have a Snapchat account. I have a Facebook account. I have a Twitter account. I need to make an Instagram account because all of my friends have these things, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess Instagram is connected to Facebook now, right?
Yeah, I think Instagram was always Facebook.
Okay, well, but this is what I'm talking about. I don't know. I recently downloaded TikTok, and I'm like, well, I probably shouldn't do this, but at this point, I'm so far behind the trend that I just have to see what it's about. And then I had to get past the hurdle of, am I okay with China knowing everything that I'm doing? I guess so. Google already knows everything that I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
And so I've been wanting to try and build that social media presence. And because I do a lot of things, and I try and take photos when I'm there. Just for myself, because I like to go back through my feed. I can scroll back all the way to when I got my phone, because I got the phone and I was working on Chocolate Lizards, the film set that I worked on. And so I have pictures from the very first day that I got my phone of me on set going like, wow, look at this phone. and I could go back and go like, fuzzy memories. Like, well, what? This is the exact sort of stuff that people do on social media, but. And so it's like, well, why don't I just go like, well, they're on my phone. Let's just post them online. And then there's another, and that helps with my career, and that helps with me learning how to do it and understanding that system. But at the same time, I don't particularly like that system because I think it perpetuates like not great anything.
Okay. I can see that.
But the kind of thing that you were talking about earlier about trying to eat better and sleep better is because I have rebooted up my Twitter account, and I think you're one of the 5 people I follow on there, and so it'll send me updates of you, and I'll look at it and go like, do I respond to this? Like, should I like this thing that Isaiah has posted, or is it going to be weird that I'm like cyber stalking him? I'm not even doing it intentionally. My phone is sending me these things. And one of them that I saw was literally that was like, all I did for the past 2 weeks was eat out. And I was like, dude, I feel that so intensely. It's like, yeah. So I totally understand what your resolution is. And I can see that pattern from your social media. And that's why
it's a little rough.
That's why I'm kind of waffling on if I want to even get into it. Because, there are celebrities out there that don't have a social media presence. But they became famous before social media was, or I should say they became successful before social media was as pervasive in our society as it is now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not at the same time, sorry. You can use social media however you deem, not necessary, but however you deem is good for you. Because, I mean, it's just going to sound terrible to say, but I've got 4 different Twitter accounts.
Right.
All for different things. I've got, like, the one that you follow, the main one, where I really just kind of shitpost,
right.
honestly. Half the time I'm talking about how I'm tired of my job and how I just want to, just get out of here. Other times, just talking about my life and stuff. And trying to make some terrible jokes and hope people will like it. Another one of those is a private one that doesn't follow anybody. Nobody's following it. And that one I just use to basically vent and rant whenever I'm just in a really bad place mentally and I need to speak my feelings out into existence without actually doing it.
Okay, yeah.
And that one was because freshman year, I'm pretty sure I talked to you about this, was really bad, and I used Snapchat as my vent, and I would post on my story, like, very long clips of me just talking about my feelings and stuff like that. And obviously, people would stop paying attention because they're like, he's not okay. But sure. I'm not going to interact with that because I don't want to get involved with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And so I learned from that, and I realized, that is maybe not the healthiest way to express myself, but it is a way for me to express myself, like, outwardly without actually having other people see it. And I actually forgot that I even had that account until I had accidentally logged into that one on my phone, and I found it, and I was like, oh, snap, it's been a year since I used this thing. And a year ago, Isaiah was really, really going through it. And it's just kind of like proof that it does get better for me, at least.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it's kind of like almost like a time capsule kind of thing. Then I have a professional account, which I don't use it for anything, let's be honest. I need to use it more, but I'm going to wait until I actually do more professional stuff. But I follow a lot of voice actors on that one.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then I have another one, which we're not going to talk about right now.
Right, but, sure. The private account.
Yes, another private account, I guess.
Ah, right.
But, what's it called? I have multiple social medias on, like, most of the platforms. I got multiple Instagrams. I got, like, my personal one, my my professional one, and then one for my art. And then also, I guess if you include Lamala John, there's also that one, too.
Oh, yeah?
I only have one Facebook, but I don't even get on that one, because Facebook's kind of just for, like, family stuff. And
yeah, isn't it strange how that has devolved?
Yeah, I don't really use Facebook like that anymore. But TikTok, I actually started recently, literally yesterday, I started making TikToks again.
Nice.
Because, like, originally what I used it for, hold on, let me pull it up. Originally what I used it for was for, like, little sketches that I had made in my head. Like a lot of people were using it for like comedy, and then like doing like little story time kind of things, and then just random stuff, and then it turned into like a 4-part series, which was supposed to go a lot longer, of me basically just kind of documenting my my self love journey. And then I just stopped. And when was that posted? That was posted August of 2021.
2021.
And I,
Wow.
yeah, I hadn't posted since then. Then yesterday, I was talking to my friend because they were like, should I be responsible and get this from Amazon or get this because I think it'd look good in it? And I was like, you have adult money to buy things that make you happy. And then I made a TikTok about it. then I made another TikTok about how I'm getting fat again and how I'm shaped like a squash.
A squash.
A squash. And then I said, no, more so a pumpkin, I think. Probably. It's random stuff now.
There's some weird VeggieTales imagery going on.
Yeah, I was thinking of VeggieTales when I had made it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but I think I don't know how this got to this, but pretty much, I only even really did that because I'm kind of, like I said, my biggest resolution is to do more content creation. Even if it's absolutely stupid or nothing even comes out of it.
Yeah, I actually concur. I think creativity is like a muscle, you know? You kind of have to work on it or it can peter out.
Oh, absolutely. We both know that.
Like, because I've been in a very similar boat. Like, these past 6 months, I haven't really done anything. Like, any of my projects that I started to work on, it'd be like, okay, I find an hour here and there that I just look at what I've done and go, yeah, I should do something with this. And then wouldn't do it, would get busy with something else. And then a little while later be like, okay, a couple days later, like, look at it again. Like, I have some time. Let's do something here. And then look at it and go like, yes, okay. What did I want to do with this again? And then it would be the end of that little session. It's like, well.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
No. Yeah, that was the end of that. Really, that cycle is really annoying. It's really frustrating.
It's really bad. I also have a little anecdote. I know I've been talking a lot, but it doesn't matter. I don't care. The other day, I think it was last week actually, I had saw somebody. So there was a Dragon Ball Z movie or Dragon Ball Super movie that came out last year called Dragon Ball Superhero, which was about it was about my favorite character, blah 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 blah. And somebody had basically took a clip from the movie and dubbed over it, and they sounded so fucking cool. So freaking cool. And so I'll
bleep it in post.
Will you? Probably
no,
not.
I will not. Absolutely.
But I was like, dang, this sounds pretty sick. And like I was like, you know what? Maybe I should do that too. Maybe that practice little voice acting skills. And so like I had cleaned off my desk for the most part. I had set everything up, and then I was like, okay, now I gotta go find the clips. And then I realized that it's gonna be hard to find the clips because the movie isn't out on like DVD or Blu-ray or anything yet.
Oh.
So I was like, okay, let me go find my actual favorite clip from the series itself regarding that same character, blah 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 blah. And so I was doing that. I was writing down the actual dialogue, and then like edits I wanted to make the little dialogue, blah blah blah. And then when it finally came time to actually do it, all that motivation and inspiration just disappeared.
Oh yeah. The setup is always the hardest part for those. I've tried to do abridged work as well. It's an arduous process.
Absolutely, but like it just frustrated me so much because I was like, I literally have everything set up, everything planned out, and now that I'm finally here, it's all gone. My brain is not into it anymore, and it made me like I got really in my feelings about it because I was like, this is something that I want to do, but every time I try to do it, I can't. Yeah,
I don't know what that. There's got to be a word for that cycle right there, because I feel like what. That? Maybe it is, and I just don't know if that's what it's called.
That's a trait of depression, I believe.
Really?
Or at least maybe not specifically that cycle, but I know like one of the traits of depression is like losing interest in things that you typically are interested in. But that could be completely unrelated to that. I do know that like the holidays are a rough time for me at least. So that could have been what it was for me. I don't know. But it's really frustrating because that's another reason why I haven't done anything else with the TV show in so long,
Yeah.
because every time I want to, either things keep happening, things keep coming up, or I'm like, all right, when I get home, I'm gonna do this, but then when I get home, I'm just so tired from work that I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what I'm saying about creativity. It's so hard to
mhm.
maintain the necessary momentum to actually get that stuff done.
Yeah, it is absolutely, and it doesn't help that I work full time now, and
Mm-hmm.
I work 8 hour plus shifts almost every day. I work 5 days in a row, and so then when I have my off days, I don't want to do anything at all.
Yeah, just recharge the batteries.
Exactly that.
Yep.
It's rough. It's real rough. But I digress, as they say.
Honestly, as depressing of a note as that is to end on, we have hit our time.
Oh,
We should.
that's fair.
Do
That's
we have
fair.
a what do you call it? What's the story at the end of the news cycle that's supposed to be
A
happy?
conclusion? Oh, uh, I don't know. That's all you, man.
I could say something insensitive, maybe. That would be a good thing to end on.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't stop. It's fine. It's fine. God damn it.
Yeah, that ain't me anymore. You know, man. I just try and be a good influence. It's hard to censor myself, you know.
Well, if you got nothing to say, I will promote myself briefly. Hey, listeners.
I already
No,
pushed
but,
for ad time during the mid
oh.
roll break.
Without me, I can't believe this.
Hey, you were getting your charger. I felt like it was
We're
a good
supposed
time
to
to
be a
do it.
team. No, but here. You know what we're gonna do?
Yeah, what are we gonna do?
To end this off, we can talk about our goals. We can read off our goals for this year.
Our goals? I'm not done with my list yet. I'm still adding to it.
Oh, okay, cool. Let's not do that. We'll come back to that maybe next time. But one of my goals is to put out more music this year. Even if I don't think it's the best, it's not going to be the best because I'm not like a professional or nothing. But expect some more music coming up this year, listeners. If you want to listen to amateur music,
If you made it this far into these two idiots rambling on about nothing at all, yes,
absolutely,
please check out our projects. They're gonna be great.
yeah. You can find my music under Lamb, Lamb, on all the streaming platforms. It might be difficult to find because there's a lot of artists named Lamb, believe it or not. But the album that was put out was Spiral, so it's kind of cool. If you want to listen to somebody like musically talk about their mental struggles, yeah.
Yeah, it's very fascinating. I don't know what you would even like. I feel like there's a term for it. Like concept album doesn't seem like the right, but like in film we have like experimental films, where
I'd say it's an experimental.
it's an
album.
experimental album. Okay. I thought
I mean, everything I do is
similar.
experimental. To be
Was-
honest, I don't everything. I don't have like a set thing or anything. Everything I do is like, ooh, I wonder what this will be like. Ooh, I wonder what that'll sound like, kind of thing.
Well, sure, but right, like AC/DC releases an album and it's like 8 of the same song, and then you
Yeah.
release an album and they're all different songs that are not always sung. Some of them are rapped. Some of them are
A lot of-
what do you
yeah.
talk like spoken
Spoken
word?
word?
Yeah. You know, so
Yeah.
there was a lot of variety within that.
Yes, there is a lot of variety. Oh, and if you want to see a really cool music video, not for Lamb, but for another artist.
The artist
Is
formerly
it published?
known. It is. The artist formerly known. Well,
As is it formerly?
currently known as Desperate Wub. Possibly formerly known because apparently, I don't know. I'm not changing the name. Who knows what's going to happen?
I mean, there might be some legal issues here soon.
Yes, we'll find out.
But yeah, Ultraflex by Desperate Wub. Look it up. I guarantee you, it'll be amazing.
It's pretty lit. Yeah. All right. I think
as I
it's
said.
a good place.
All right.
Let's zip it up there.